why did you decide to make this film?
I'm an immigrant to the United States. I came to the country as a teenager in the late 1970s. I was exhilarated by the freedom of America, the opportunity, but also the kind of basic rights enshrined in the Bill of Rights, right? Free speech, freedom of conscience, right to assemble, to petition the government, equal rights under the law. And then we fast forward, and I realized that all those rights today are, to one degree or another, in jeopardy. And then I look at police states around the world, places like North Korea, China, the old Soviet Union. And when I look at the defining features of these police states, like mass surveillance or censorship, ideological indoctrination in the schools, the attempt to create kind of a one-party state, lock up the leader of the opposition party, political prisoners. And then I go down the checklist and I go, well, wait a minute, a number of those things, maybe not all, but most, are now visible to one degree or another in this country. So that's what the film asks a big question. Is America ceasing to be the free society that we've championed for 30 years? Is it becoming more of a police state?
So you're just asking a question. Do you answer it?
Yes, I answer it in the sense that I think that there is a alarming movement in that direction. Now, we're obviously not a full-fledged police state. If we were, you know, in a full-fledged police state, you can't make a movie called Police State. You get locked up. So we're not North Korea, we're not China, but the rapidity of the erosion of our liberties is what's really troubled me. And the pretext has varied, right? Some of it started with 9/11. Some of it was COVID. Some of it was January 6th. So whatever the rationale, the movement has been toward, we're going to be curbing your liberties over here and over here and over here. And then you add it up and you say, wait a minute, we're not quite the free country that we've always imagined ourselves to be.
Do you feature people who perceive that they've been targeted, or do you present evidence of targeting by the federal government?
No, I present evidence, and by evidence what I mean is case after case after case after case. And I want to answer the guy who's going to say to me something like, I'm not Donald Trump, Dinesh, and I didn't go inside the Capitol on January 6th, and I pay my taxes, and so, like, the FBI will never come visiting me. And I want to argue, don't be so sure. And so I profile a lot of ordinary people in the film who are going about their normal business. They may be involved in civic activity, moms, for example, concerned what their kids are learning, and then bam, they come face to face with the police state. And so what we do is we have a lot of surveillance footage, dash cam footage, in some cases recreations. But even then, I hired some FBI consultants to make these recreations vividly accurate.
What is the evidence?
So the evidence is just an accumulation of cases, right? There's no other type of evidence you can have except this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me, and we just lay out these factual cases, case after case. So I'll give you a classic example. There's an elderly guy who lives in New York named Joe Bolanos. He's an apartment manager in New York. He came down to Washington, D.C. on January 6th. He's a video enthusiast, so he actually just more wanted to be part of the excitement of the day. He takes all this video. He sees all these people going toward the Capitol. He moves with the crowd. He doesn't go in. He sees people climbing the rafters. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. He goes home. Goes to New York. He rounds up his old buddies in a cafe. He's showing them the footage of the event. A neighbor of his kind of eavesdrops on this and goes, this guy was obviously in the Capitol on January 6th. No, he wasn't. But the neighbor calls the FBI. So this is very police state stuff, right? Someone rats out on you. They call the feds. And the feds do a massive raid on this guy's apartment, trashing it. Now, the interesting thing about it is this guy, because he's a high-tech guy, he has hidden cameras in his apartment. So you see the FBI come up, they take a tape and they try to cover the door camera because they don't want people to see what they're doing. Now, right away you go, well, why not? If what they're doing is legal, if this is what is normally done, but they obviously want to block anybody from recording what's happening. You see this. And because he has hidden cameras, you can see the battering ram, you can see them come crashing through the door, long guns drawn, armored vests, and then they take this guy into a van, they interrogate him for 4 hours, they tip off NBC, so the media's there. So he's humiliated that day on TV, he has a stroke, and for what? The guy did nothing. So case upon case upon case, again, unrefuted. No one's even challenging that this happened to this guy. It's just that this is what they're doing in the country these days.